Hello, guys. Good day. It's Philip, your real estate media guy, and welcome back to this amazing channel, Real Estate and Gen Z. And today we have a very, very interesting topic to discuss. As you can see, we have an amazing guest here, and I'll let her introduce herself so you get to know her. So please.
Oh, okay. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Muslimat Wurala Ibrahim. I am the lead designer and lead project manager for D Interior and Management, an interior design and project management company based in Abuja, Nigeria.
Okay. I guess that was. It felt like. It felt so fast. You said you were going to remove the Muslim one, but you forgot.
That's for you.
You forgot. Okay, for me.
That's for you.
Oh, for me. Oh, okay. Okay, so today, like she said, um, interior design. Interior design is something that I love so much. I would usually say it's in my videos because as a real estate videographer, it's not just about doing the work, it's also about coming to a space and appreciating the beauty of the space. The last time we came to your house to do a video.
Mm.
What I remembered, aside from seeing the design and giving you my feedback on them, what I remembered was how I could just feel that you were passionate about interior design because you kept on telling us about it. And I remember making a remark saying, oh, if you would host an interior design class, probably I would come I would pay or stuff like that. And so my love for interior design is just on so many levels.
Mm.
And sometimes some people will say, people may not know, but how a space is designed
Yeah.
could have a reaction or could make you react in a certain way
Yeah.
that you may not know. So probably you should just give us a backstory on how you started interior design and why you are in the interior design space.
Okay, so to start with, my brother is an architect,
Okay.
and I've always liked pretty things. I like beautiful things. I like beautiful spaces, and I'm naturally somebody that thinks ahead and is very big on problem solving. So I then figured I could make a career out of combining all those qualities and all those traits into making spaces that impact people positively, because I know just how much your environment affects your productivity and your state of mind. So that, I think, it was just a natural fit for me at that time. And I officially went into interior design in 2023 when I made it a registered business, and it's been smooth sailing since then.
Okay, so you mentioned that your brother is an architect. So do you think it's because you had someone in the family who was into real estate that you felt like, oh, I should venture into this because
No, I don't think that wasn't, it was an add-on for me, but I genuinely think because I like my solitude. I like my alone time. I like spaces that impact me positively. And when you sit with yourself long enough and then you start to really consume your environment, you now start to think about it on a deeper level. Okay, fine. Like, maybe if something is clustered, I know that it's going to add to my frustration. If something is beautifully done, I know it's going to soothe me to the extent that I can now be at my best and perform most effectively in anything I'm doing. So I just decided that fine, it's something I can make a career out of, and it's something I do enjoy doing. I'm not a people pleaser, but I do aim to please. And I know the stress that comes with the management side of it, the aesthetic side of it, the psychology sides of it. So I decided to take on that stress on behalf of people so that I can impact their own lives positively.
Okay, you made mention of psychology. When you're talking, I was like, it's psychological
Yeah,
in a
it is.
way, right? But since you made mention of it, how does that affect? Is it the psychology between a client and you, or a client and a space, or
No,
what?
you are a product of your environment. I think hearing that growing up, you don't really understand just how deep that goes. If you are someone who takes pride in just having calm and ease around you, you need to make sure your environment reflects that, because everything is connected. Like, when you come in, you step into the room and then you see that something is clustered. If you're already angry coming in, you are going to be angrier coming, like, staying inside the house. So when I say it just means like you're a product of your environment, and you need to make sure your environment is at its best so that you can perform effectively.
So it's not about the space; it's how the space looks,
It's
right?
making sure the space works for you. So you need to, and that is why I keep telling people that interior design is very personal. And if you don't personalize it to your life, your work routine, your habits, things that you just need to have to function properly, you are not going to make the most of your space, and it's going to affect you in the long run. That's why you see people that they do a space and they don't do it well. 2 years they are changing something. 5 years they are changing. It's not as if you are moving a decor piece or you are replacing a coffee table. It's something structural, something fundamental. It's as little as just the lighting, like the natural lighting. And that's why I really emphasize for people to take on more biophilic designs. So when you just maximize natural lighting.
Sorry.
So biophilic design is it's connecting human to nature. Like you see people that maximize natural light, they have greenery in their house. This is an exaggerated example, but I don't know if you've seen that viral video about how somebody from the architecture, they had carved out a space for a whole palm tree to stay in the house.
No.
So people thrive in nature, and then it's how you go to the village and it feels considerably different from the city. So you need to make sure that to the best of your ability, you are maximizing your natural light, your ventilation, as much green as possible, because you really do mentally get off on seeing so many natural things around you. Like plants. People that are into plants will tell you this and this in the bathroom is soothing. You use it with a hot shower, you feel considerably better, and things of that nature.
Yeah, it's so funny because now that you're saying it, I'm going to really see that maybe the kind of space we find ourselves affects our mood and affects how we
It really does.
behave. So would you say interior design is a luxury thing?
I think.
Let me rephrase that question.
Okay.
Would you say everybody in the level of capacity financially is able to enjoy the benefits of interior design, or it's just for a set people?
I hate to say, but I think it's just for a set people. If you
Eh,
because it's really more of maximizing your investment in your space, and a lot of that tends to be financial. So from the get, if you have a plot of land, you have the financial means, you are better equipped to build it up to scale in a way that would meet your needs in 5, 10 years, 15. As I say, growing up, there are some houses that even to today, you go back out there and it's fine. Like, regardless of maybe you don't have the updated POP design, but those are things you can always add on. But the structure itself and how interior design comes to play in terms of bringing a space to life, a huge bulk of it is financial. Like, we can talk about bringing in plants. Plants are inexpensive, depending on what species or whatever it is you're bringing in. But I think at the core, it's definitely something that I would consider a luxury, though subjectively depending on what you're going for. But it's definitely something I would consider a luxury.
Okay, so now are you trying to say that we're cutting out the average Nigerian?
Your average Nigerian, I wouldn't cut them out.
Okay. For example, now I don't want to go ahead of myself, but let me ask the question now. If you have an interior design project, what would you say it's a considerable amount, that can give something that is okay?
Again, it's a subjective
Subjective.
thing, because interior design is very, very personalized. You have to understand the person, you have to understand their needs, their wants, their pet peeves and everything. So all those things come into play in designing a space. Like, I would tell people, architecture is the backbone. It's going to define how the structure stands and functions. Interior design is just bringing it to life. So you need to with interior design, you need to combine functionality, psychology, aesthetics, and all of that jazz.
You need to combine functionality,
Aesthetics,
aesthetics,
functionality,
and
psychology. Yes.
Okay, well, that psychology line is giving luxury feel.
So, no, it's not. It's just like, it's how they would, that phrase that says you need to go out and touch grass. Like, when you are inside and you're cooped up for too long, you need a change of scenery and things of that nature. But I would say that I wouldn't say it's the average Nigerian can't afford it. I would just say budgets are very important, and with budgets, it's important to know where to invest.
Just says, I just want to be able to breathe.
You still need a budget for that, because with budgets, it helps you. You can breathe outside. You can breathe outside. You can touch grass.
You breathe outside. Okay.
Breathe outside.
Okay. All
if
right.
your windows are properly done, you can open it.
All right. Okay. So it's safe to say that before you talk about interior design or benefiting from interior design, you have to, have a very, very good budget and all that. But now, what is the difference between interior design and interior decoration? Because I don't feel like so many people know the difference.
I think it's a common misconstruction. I be like it's commonly misconstrued. Interior decor is more so about visual elements, your furniture placements, maybe the color of paint, and maybe things that you feel would make the space more personal for you. Some people are into gothic themes, maybe they get all blackout curtains and things of that nature. But like interior design, you need to know who the person is
Okay.
structurally. You need to know what makes their life easier. For some people, they need to have sockets, they need to have switch all over because they need to be as accessible as possible to electricity. Some people, they are for earth. They need to make sure their ventilation is top notch. Though I will say, regardless, you need to make sure ventilation is top notch. But again, it comes down to functionality, aesthetics, psychology.
Psychology.
Because if you don't know the person, you can't create the space. That's like the same. It's the same way you have like content studios. You can go to a content studio, take a picture, but it's not. You can't comfortably live there because it's not tailored to the person. So that's the difference. Interior decor is more visual based, and then interior design you have is kind of like the foundation for anything.
Hmm. So with your installation now, I can clearly state that we have so many interior decorators in Nigeria,
You do.
and we have a, probably a lower number of interior designers.
I would say that as well.
So, okay, well, let's talk about you. How did you come to learn interior design like as it really is?
Hands-on experience. Like I would obviously recommend fundamental learnings, like learning around designs and spaces and things of that nature. But I think mentorship, field work, and hands-on experience is how best you would know because again, education is there, practice is there. So for me, I was very lucky to have to be supported by people that trusted me with their projects. And again, I naturally think ahead. If there's a what if, I've thought of 3 what ifs for that what ifs because I don't like to disappoint people and I like to make sure all my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted. So for me, it was very easy for me to step into the space in terms of practicality because I was blessed with people that supported me enough to trust me with their spaces. So that's how I started with my brother is an architect as well. So I always speak to him. And I also have a friend who is a structural engineer. Like I cannot work without those two people, architects, structural engineers, like they are the backbones of that structure. What I do is really good, but at the core of it, I cannot be who I am without those people.
You made mention of something that's very, very important now. Before you talk about interior design, we first of all talk about architecture, right? Because the architect has to give space for the designer to do what they want to do. And the last time I came to your project, you said if it was up to you, you'd have broken down some certain things.
Yes.
So that means the architect did not really consider that stuff.
I think most Nigerian architects, they are mostly profit oriented in the sense that they want to maximize profit at the risk of functionality.
Is it just the architects or even the clients as well?
If you give it, no, maybe they would not want to pay for it, but they would definitely be willing for you to do the best for them.
Give them the option.
Yeah, as long as the option is presented. But I would say at the core, we need to really revisit what it is we value. And I think if sustainability and durability is part of it moving forward, we need to really go back to the drawing board and see where we can really improve. Because I see a lot of structures. I'm not an architect, but it doesn't take one to know that this window is too small. Or how in one room you have the layout is you have a very small window, and then in terms of because there's a visual to how airflow goes. So if your air is coming in this way and then you just have one window, we are just recycling the same air. There's no outlet, and that's why regardless of how cool it is outside, it's very hot for you. And then even down to the bricks, like the bricks you would use, the finishing of the paint, all these things really do play a part. Even the thickness of your curtains.
Wow, this one play too.
So it's a lot to consider, but I think now more Nigerians are, I don't know if it's because of how things are going, but we are beginning to look after ourselves more. And that just means we're becoming more intentional with what we surround ourselves with, what we do, and things
Okay.
of that nature.
Well, but on this level of our discussion now, what I can visualize is for anybody who wants to achieve this, like you already made mention of, must be someone who person who bar. Like the person has to be, financially buoyant.
I would say yes.
Yes.
But budgets vary. I think with budgets, it's just very important to know where to invest and what not to compromise on. There are different grades, there are different levels. If you want what is going to be sustainable for you for in the long run, you are going to have to spend money on that. And that's just the honest truth.
Okay, so for those that rent, for example, now this is a Gen Z what's it called, playlist, and you find that okay, most Gen Z are renting. There's this apartment I saw one time, and while I thought about okay, if I was going to stay here for a month, there are some things I have to change. Now, from your explanation, interior design talks about the structure as well.
Yeah.
So once you miss out from the structure, you have to be able to like, okay, now begin to think out of the box. What can I do to elevate the ambience of this room? And
Yeah.
So giving that example, if I have a space, for example, I didn't build it,
You can't make
there's
changes as
nothing
well.
that I can't make changes to the structure. How can I at least elevate the space to be able to, for me to be able to live in it?
You first have to know what you're working with and what it is you can invest in. So a lot of times for areas that are poorly ventilated, I will not recommend thick curtains, for example.
Okay, no thick
Like
curtains.
little changes is what would actually make your stay more comfortable. So if you have a small living room space, your goal is not to get a 6x6 couch coupled with a 2x2 and then 2 chairs and a big coffee table. And you need to start small. You need to make sure you are taking into account movement and flow and just things that would make your stay more comfortable. So even if it's as little as getting plants that are known to, because some plants help with humidity, some plants help with ventilation.
Like
I can't recall some of them off the top of my head, but I know some.
with ventilation. I know plants gives oxygen while it takes in carbon dioxide.
Yes.
So it has to be a live plant.
Yes. Because the plastic one is just going to make the place more inhabitable. What would be the point? I just think little changes are just what make the big difference.
There's a lot of things,
And maybe eco-friendly materials. Some eco-friendly materials are not expensive.
Okay.
Bamboo, it's not really expensive. But then again, you don't want to now make somebody feel like they're having to do this and it's not what they want, because preferences are very different. Some people want a royal king-size bed, but because of the space of the room and the poor ventilation, it's just going to take up space and it's going to restrict airflow more. So if you have to substitute it.
So if there's no space, the airflow is not.
It's more restricted. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm learning a lot from there. Really, I am really. But I've worked with so many interior designers, right? And I can say now that I worked with interior decorators. Not to bash anybody, but
yes,
based on what we were talking about and based on what you've said, I can clearly group some people and say, okay, this one is an interior designer, this is an interior decorator. But when we talk about the Nigerian markets, I don't like using the word competition. Maybe somebody in the same market as you are. Have you ever taken time to maybe observe and be like, okay, I think we're missing something in this sector, or we're missing something in this system?
I mean, we're missing a lot, but like I said, your average Nigerian is more profit oriented. So regardless of what it is they feel like the space needs or could do without, some people that actually have real integrity for the business, if they find like, because some structures in Nigeria are not properly done. Take for example, there's dampness in the walls. It's not a project you should, with integrity in your heart, take on, because over time it's going to go bad. The wall is going to affect whatever paint you put on, whatever. Because I know somebody that the home she got, this was after inspection, after she had paid for it, she discovered that the walls were so wet that she couldn't even hang her curtains.
Oh, wow.
So, like, what amount of decoration would you do there that in 2-3 months to come, or even let's say you are unfortunate to have experienced it during rainy season, would not be damaged? And then they are not going to think, oh, you did the work well, and then maybe there's something structurally amiss. If you had told them the implications and then you still went ahead to do it, somehow the blame will still be on you because that's not a project you should have taken on in the first place.
So how does a client now have these? Because generally, I would say in Nigeria, in the real estate space, you don't find people do not necessarily appreciate the beauty of the structures of a house or the beauty of architects. You don't find there's no buzz that has to do it. Oh, this person, an architect, good architect and all that.
Yeah.
We just want a structure. Give me either it's a terrace, give me a duplex. Let's just there's 200 square meters here, 300 square meters. Just build something on it. So put some windows. Make sure that there are windows in the roof so it doesn't choke people and all that. For someone who is really ready to who doesn't even know that there is something like interior design because some people, like you said, profit oriented. How much is this house? 200 million, 500 million. Oh, okay. Can we do this for 450? And stuff like that. So one of the things I was saying to myself is we tend to look at the external beauty of the house or the frame. That's after it's done. But we rarely look at what goes into the building, what goes into the settings. Like, for example, the space. Why is this place like this? I think that's one question that interior design asks, right?
Yeah.
Why?
What's the function of this space and things of that nature?
Because sometimes it looks like in some houses, when you go in, you're like, what's this thing for?
I think I would say there's a cover for everybody. The people that appreciate the work architects do and the work structural engineers do and things and people like that, they are still very much around and they are still very intentional about their space. But because
it's personal though.
Yeah, it's very personal.
Space. Not like they're not selling it out.
No, even you have I know a couple of contractors that do diligence in their buildings. Like everything down to making sure because you see a lot of rooms, the ceiling, maybe this side is straight, this side is bending. They don't allow that. Everything has to almost be perfect because they know that aside your reputation is on the line, you have a lot more to lose. Ethically, you have a lot more to lose. But it also just boils down to the person. If you know you want the best, you have to do your due diligence. You have to find out who built this thing. I tell people, before you even rent a space, before you buy a space, do as much. Like, there's so many inspection tests that you need to go through. I don't see Nigerians doing that. You just ask if there's lights, if there is water, if there is borehole. For example, like water pressure is something that should have been thought about from you bringing the structure up. It's not plumber's job. But it's not a culture we have in terms of when it comes to housing. So inspection tests are very, very important. You need to check the walls, you need to check for leakage, you need to check for absences. It's a lot. But I just wish that moving forward we think of ourselves more, because if you don't do what you need to do to get a space, in the long run you're going to spend more than a cost to get the space to fix it. But
so I feel like people are not intentional when it comes to these things. And for example, if you take Nigeria as a case, if you're looking for a house, for example, and you cannot be asking, for example, your agents now, except you have a level of money that is your whole house. You want to rent house and you're asking, what's this level of this, what's the level of that? They will even send you.
It's not something you would even ask. It's something you go and inspect yourself.
Okay.
In a civilized country, you are allowed that right.
Civilized country.
And I think, again, this is why we really need to go back to the drawing board, because it shouldn't be the amount of, as long as I'm interested in knowing in this space, I should be accorded whatever respect I need to make sure that my interests are protected. Because if I get the space and something is wrong, the most you tell me is sorry, but your agent will block you.
True.
They don't want to know if your roof is leaking, if there's a burst pipe or anything. So you need, because in most countries, at least countries outside of Nigeria, you are allowed to do inspection tests. So there's a lot. when it comes to inspection centers, I always emphasize you need carry your structural engineer there, carry your architect, carry everybody you know. Let them go and check it, because if you are going by word of mouth, you are going to be financially in danger.
Okay, so you keep talking about structural engineer, structural engineer. Like, could you throw some light on that? You know, like I think you mentioned that when we go, when we were at well, the last time we met,
Mm.
talked about structural engineer. So can you like throw some light on it? What does the
So
person do?
an architect would design,
Mm-hmm.
and a structural engineer or structural architect would help you maximize that design.
Okay.
So for
So
example,
bring
if
it
you
to life.
have, yes, bring it to life, and then making sure that each space fulfills the function that it was meant to fulfill. So that is why it's very I keep emphasizing that, because they know how best things lap on top of each other, and
Okay.
what to avoid in terms of in terms of finishing your building. So like even for an already finished building, if they do a walk through, they can tell you where there are inadequacies, and if there are things that you can, if your building is carcass anyway,
Yeah.
if there are things you can change at this level, they will help you change it. At a finished level, there's very little they can do without you spending a lot of money.
So at what stage of a building should an interior design be contracted?
From the land.
Uh, really?
Yes.
I doubt that happens in this country.
Rarely. It rarely happens. Because with an architect, you can tell him you want a an entryway now. Let's just say, for example, with an interior designer, I'm going to ask you, what is it? Because some people, their entryway is just a hand coat, keys, maybe shoes and everything. What are some things that you want to be like? What are some things you necessarily have to have? Some people, their shoes are not going to be in the cupboard. They need to be inbuilt into the walls because they don't want to see anything. If you ask an architect, he will just give you in a way that maximizes the space. Of course, this is how much space you have with the entryway. This is what you can do with it. Interior design is now trying to work around that to make sure the space works best for you personally.
Okay. So having this kind of mentality and this kind of mindset has also to do with interior design. Definitely, definitely, 100%. I'm very, very sure. You should have come across situations that tend to dim, your how you feel it should be. People, maybe a client comes to you and be like, I want this, oh, and you're like, this is how you do it, and the person is telling you, no, I just do.
I mean, so with that, I'd say two things. There's a client you would have, and then there are things that they would want that if you feel like there's a way to work around it, maybe you would feel like there's something you can do to ensure that the best is what they get. And some clients, they don't want that. They just want what they want. So if in what they want, you can find a way to make sure it is maximized, that's fine. But then another aspect is when you feel like you have to sacrifice your integrity to
Yeah.
do the work, then you can easily just turn the client away.
Okay. So what if hmm, so many people not sacrifice their integrity? They will sacrifice their integrity too. Because now you want to work. So now you thought you say, okay, maybe I do this one. So
But
I will do it.
that's the issue,
Like,
is that when you contract somebody for a job, and then you can give somebody clauses of what is going to go wrong, sub clauses of what can possibly go wrong after that one has gone wrong. And then they tell you, what is your job? I'm literally telling you why you should not do this, why this is not good for you, a better alternative. And then you're telling me what you want that is not good for you is what I should do.
because even as a real estate videographer, I meet clients who I know that okay, this your work, we can do better than this. But they come and tell you, don't worry, this is what I want. And some are very, very they are like they are very stubborn and they just want what they want, no matter what. So I feel like in a way we say we find ourselves in a system where most people don't like respect professional
I think it's because we're used to not understanding the bigger picture. I think generally as Nigerians, we're used to not understanding. It's the same way
okay.
they will throw luxury around that word. Because I feel like if you're able to own a house, that's a luxury on its own. There are so many aspects of bringing a house together or bringing a commercial space together that are, I would say, are subjectively luxurious. But people don't. I think we're just used to luxury being in the purchase, and they forget that the maintenance is a huge part. We have a different maintenance reality compared to the UK,
Yeah,
compared to
definitely.
like climate plays a huge role. Like everything, it's intertwined in a way that if you make the mistake, you are going to bear the cost, and it's not something you can. The initial purchase is fine, but it's in the maintenance that it's a real luxury.
And Nigerians don't. I don't see Nigerians.
I mean, you can say
It's a
Nigerians. There are
big,
some of
it's
them.
a very, very large percentage.
Mm.
Even when you look at government projects and all that, they build a project is beautiful, maintenance is like zero.
Yes,
So it's I think so on that aspect.
but with clients, it's always a yes or no for you. And when it's a yes, you have to make sure you have a contract in place to protect your interests. So everything is going to be outlined there. Every minute detail, every what ifs, every in the nearest future, everything is going to be outlined there. So when it's signed, it's not a case where they can come back and say you did not do your job to the best of your ability. It will be a case of I told you this would happen, and I told you we can work around this, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be maintained in a way that you like.
Okay. So do you feel, because based on all this your explanation now, what me I can clearly see is that there is the market for interior design. Of course, it's a very good thing when you begin to explain this is what these are the benefits, these are the advantages. It's a very, very good thing. Everybody wants to have that good thing. But then when it comes to the real deal, I think the market is not as big in Nigeria.
It's not as big because the people that understand value are very slim. When you understand value and then you value yourself and your space, you know just how big an investment it is for you to do due diligence. So I've met a number of people that are very intentional with these things. They don't play about their space. They don't play about anything. It could be as little as maybe the chair placement. They are very down to that level. They are very intentional. But I do think we still have a long way to go in terms of making the most or giving ourselves the best and the conversations that come with it. Because some people don't like to be told the truth. And isn't that when you, because a lot of times you see people that say, okay, they work the interior, they like to argue, we like to give headaches. Like it's for your own good. Like we can easily just take the money and go.
Yeah.
But at the core, like we are trying to look out for you above all else. So if I'm asking questions, because I need to make sure you understand what the next steps, what necessary next steps we need to take. I need to make sure that you understand that I am putting you at the forefront of this project. Like you are literally all that matters. You are the one that's going to be living there, you're going to be breathing. I need to make sure you understand the work that goes into this thing.
Okay. So as an interior designer, don't you think, since people may not be so aware about the benefits of all this and what it really is, don't you think it's a good move to enlighten people or enlighten the populace about it?
I would. It's definitely something that
That's a
should be
brand.
done.
That's not a brand idea that I just gave.
It's definitely something that should be done because people need to know, regardless. But I think because of the nature of the Nigerian market, and this is not to it's not to say that it's a discouragement to start it.
Yeah.
It's more so when you are focused with the clients that understand what it is that you need to do, you don't really have the time to be enlightening people that are going to be arguing with you. Because the people that want to know as well are people that are also curious. They are teachable. They know that it's not something that they have up there, and then you can put them through and then better help them better understand why it's this way and why it should be that way.
Okay.
If you have people that are going to say, okay, but everybody is doing this. Like you have global trends, you have trends that are flying from house to house, every house is looking the same. And that's not to say trends are bad, but a proper interior designer would actually apply that trend in a way that makes sense to that space, to that person, not to you. And that's where the issue. Like when you see that Lagbaja has this in his house, you think automatically I can put it in your house. Your house has damp walls. I can't do that there. Because if I do it, say, okay, but Lagbaja too, there's probably an oil, a spray you can. Like, if it was that simple, we would not have the problems we have in Nigeria or even in the world. Sorry, we'll fix a lot of things.
You said most houses are looking like the same.
Yes, we have a issue in terms of copying trends, and we are very obsessed with picture perfect houses, and that's not a bad thing. Everybody wants the Instagrammable house, the Snapchatable house. It's not bad, but it's just very important we understand that in copying trends, we need to apply them to the space in a way that works best for the person that's living there. So for somebody that doesn't Okay, fine. Because you want to maximize natural light, you go and do floor to ceiling window in a place where you cannot climb to clean it, or in a structure that is very hot. It's going to be disastrous moving forward now.
Okay. I've been learning a lot here. Really. So many informations going, And what I want to ask now is, as an interior designer, do you think your your psychological state of mind or who you are can also influence the kind of designs you do?
Mm,
It's going to be two questions in one. So that's one question. And then the second question is, let's talk about your brand. What kind of designs do you have if a what's it called? Is it flair for?
so I'm not okay for the first question. I think personally, I do think I largely influence my clients in the sense that if I naturally think ahead, that means I talk a lot because I need to make sure you understand everything I'm saying. So by the time I give you a 3-page essay on why what you want me to put in your house is not the best for you, you're going to have to rethink it.
Mm.
And I can't be very persuasive because I need to make sure you understand that I want what's best for you. And secondly, what's the second question? Sorry.
The second one is, do you like when you talk about
Okay,
you
the
doing your
flair.
design? Yeah, the flair.
So I don't really have a flair for much.
So you don't have like a specific.
I no. I I I like personalized interiors because that just means every project is a different experience. Because you meet different people, you understand what they like. So I think my preference is personalized interiors. I don't want the same beige house in every single project. I don't have anything against beige. I just prefer my client space to speak to their personality.
Mm.
Regardless of how plain it is or how colorful it is, let it just be tailored to you. So that's like in terms of work, that's what I thrive at. I need to better understand the person, and then even then, when you understand people that you work with, it helps you navigate situations moving forward with others. So I think it's always a learning experience for me, just meeting new people and seeing what they like. Because you'd be very shocked at what some people like. I've had some very interesting clients,
Mm.
some very interesting clients.
So is there anything like bad interior design?
There is.
There is.
There
What
is,
if it's the client that said that's what they want?
and that's a bad client and bad interior designer. But there is bad interior design. Bad
Okay,
interior design.
okay. I was going through your Instagram profile,
Mm,
and there was this post you made about colors. You know,
yeah.
colors is part of is it part of interior design, interior decoration? But wait, before you answer that question, why do I feel now that as an interior designer you also have to be an interior decorator?
It comes with it, no?
It comes with it, right? So they are not separate.
They're not
So
separate.
I feel like the issue is most people are not so deep into interior design, but they are very, very enthusiastic about interior decoration.
I think the thing with interior decor is that it's the easy way out. You
It's
can be
easy
an
out.
interior decor as long as you know what you want in your space. You can go with it. You don't need to know the technicalities. You don't need to know how a space works. You can just decide, okay, fine. You want a maroon couch and green walls. As long as that's what you like, that's all. I cannot come and say that space is not personalized, regardless of whether I agree with the design or not.
But can anybody be an interior decorator?
Um, I would say yes.
I, I, I was going to say no.
No, I say that because again, it's interior decor. I literally just spoke about personalized interior. So if you want to do what you want to do to your space, regardless of whether I agree with it or not, I may not like the layout, I may not like the lighting, I may not like the furniture choice. I can't now come and say you are not an interior decorator. Though there are some people who do need some fundamental knowledge on those
Mm.
things. Yes, but anybody can read up on it and say they're an interior decorator. You then have to now look at their portfolio and decide whether or not it's something you agree with. And
So that
then
means what you just said now. That means that there's many people that just read on it and give themselves that name. I'm an interior decorator because I know about color placement. I know how to position my chairs. It gives this feeling when I know that there is so much that comes with interior decoration and interior design. So I don't try to just say, oh, I think I can do this work. Because I feel like a lot goes into it.
I hate to be that person, but with interior decor, I don't think that much goes into it.
Eh? Ah. Okay, let's look at this space now, for example. Let's just use this space as an example. This is work of an interior decorator, no? Yes, nah.
If you insist.
Okay. Does this ever happen to you? Like when you walk into a space,
Oh,
you look around.
I always again because my brothers, I literally grew up on him analyzing everything. So that has literally I would enter his space and I'm like, why is this thing lopsided? What inspired? Even I'm looking at this curtain, I'm like, what inspired? And why the hell is it 2 inches off the floor? I'm looking at it and I'm not understanding why they did that.
For me, I enter this place, I'm like,
It's okay.
the first thing I perceive is okay. The fragrance of the room is good. I like it.
I think you like it because the AC is on. You're not hot. You like it because
the AC is on as well. But
because
I really do think, seriously, I feel like people should really be aware of this. They should.
they really should because
And then
this rug is a crime.
hey, whoa,
I'm happy it's not showing.
I need people who will be like, okay, let us really talk to you about this. Let's really enlighten you. People like you. So you call me, you have a session, you call me, I do your videos for you, and then you talk about this and that and this and that.
Definitely.
Because I feel like um when you begin to when people feel like you're enthusiastic about a certain topic, it can open doors to okay other clients.
I do think there's so much we need to talk about, and I do look forward to working together and covering those topics because it's definitely something that even people in the business don't know, or maybe if they do know, they just underrate it in a way that it's disastrous because we have a lot to cover. We have a lot we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to reevaluate a number of things. And we need to make sure, at least moving forward, I expect sustainability and durability to cover more areas moving forward because we really need to do better.
Mm.
Everything is affecting us. Climate, structure,
People don't necessarily even talk about climate. How many Nigerians talk about climate?
I think because we're just used to heat. Like cold heat, but we have a proper climate issue in Nigeria. It's a bit crazy,
You
but
feel like there's heat season, there's cold season.
that's what like
when heat is hitting.
yeah, like we just label the season, and that's not wrong. But like even in with structures, in building structures, you need to consider climate. You need to consider maintenance realities. That is why people are always shouting for smart homes in a country that you don't have light. The day that thing is going to fail you, it's not backup gen that will save you. So there are so many things we need to consider, but there are structures that would guarantee you uninterrupted light. There are a number of them across Abuja and Lagos. I can't say for other states, but I know across Abuja and Lagos, there are some developers that really put in the work. But then again, they are tailored to people that know what value is and are willing to pay for that value.
Some people are willing to pay just that they don't know what the value is.
I hope and pray they meet people like me and
Or
you
will you
moving
meet them?
forward, so I can enlighten them now. Make sure that their homes are as impactful as possible.
Okay, so for someone out there who wants to go into interior design, what would be your advice to the person?
Get formal knowledge, have an understanding of spaces, how space works, how design works, and try to get as much hands-on experience as possible, mentorship, field work, and just making sure that you are teachable and curious because I think the best interior designers are always learning. It's a continuous process. That's why when you meet different clients, you see that there are new ways to navigate situations with people. There are new ways to navigate conflicts or just things of that nature. But I definitely think you always need to stay on top. You need to always be learning. And again, hands-on experience. That is really where the work comes in.
Okay, that's like with the way you're talking, I'm just trying to remember my experience with interior design and then my thoughts about interior design, and it's looking like okay, this there is more to this than
There
what
is.
meets the eye. Maybe we don't necessarily know the story behind what goes into the work. I mean, most people don't come and say, okay, let me take you through the behind the scene, the months and weeks of planning, knowing what's gonna go here, knowing what's gonna go there. Because people feel like if you're a woman, for example, I'm sure you can design your space the way you want. You know what you want here, you know what you want here. That's why I feel like there's so many women into interior decoration and interior design in
I
Nigeria.
think what you need to real estate agents.
Yeah. Even real estate agents now saying they're into interior design.
I mean, when you're in the real estate sector, you come across it. To the extent to which you learn is really just dependent on the individual. But I will say that with real estate, interior design, when it comes to taking clients along, it really just depends on the briefing notes. Some clients, they don't want to know the behind the scenes, and I don't hold that against them, because that's not their bit. That's what they're paying you for. You're supposed to handle all of that, the stress, the overthinking, all of that jazz that comes with it. Some people like to be informed at stages where they feel their input is necessary because it's their home. So the behind the scenes is not really what they need to know. The conversations prior to that is what is most important when talking to clients.
So because somebody can just come and say, okay, so see this space now, this is what I want there. And interior design, like you said, answers the question of why. Why is this here? Why is that there? And based on what we have today, I can feel like most people just feel, like you said, so many houses are beginning to look like themselves, right? Because people are just copying trends and putting it. Oh, I like this kind of light. See, I should have it too. And you're not considering what your structure is like. So, guys, this is really very important, right? Because now we know that there's so much that goes into interior design. So much whys.
Lots of whys.
Why is this like this? Why is that like this? So for example, now you made a comment about this cutting.
I've been looking at it and I can't wrap, like,
in my head,
2 inches more.
What's it concern because I cutting? Like the cutting is there. I open it, I don't care to know, okay, why is the color like this? Why is the color like that? So it takes a lot of knowledge and enlightenment to be able to make these kinds of decision. And we cannot really come to a place where we're like, okay, this is a problem. Because the solution should also start from the clients that are reaching out to people to say, come to my house, come and design it, come on. Because people feel like, I really do believe that people feel like
they know it all.
Design, no, not necessarily. That design and decoration are synonymous.
Again, like you said, it's because they don't know the work that goes with it. They don't, because if you, like, for interior design, like down to the placements of the wires and things like that, to your sockets, to your lighting, like, if you have to now try and explain that to people, they are going to shut down, because first of all, that's not what they're interested in. They just know that they want a switch here. They want this particular type of lighting. Like, even with lighting, there are warm lights, there's white lights.
I feel like warm lights affect my eyes over because of time.
They do. Like, even with white lights, some lights even generate heat. But then you have people that really just emphasize on what they want. So what you want isn't necessarily the best for you, but we can work around it. That's why you see people that have those LED lights, they have like multiple colors. That is it. I know the person that invented that was just trying to give people more options and make at least compromise. That's because that's the only explanation. But you just really hope to meet clients that understand the value of what you bring, and then will put themselves first enough to know that, fine, what you are trying to make them understand is for their own benefit as well.
So that means people that reach out to me for interior design videos, they want me to come and do it at the end.
They do.
Like, come on, I've finished designing the house, just come and do your video. But I feel the gem in that production, maybe this is me selling myself, but anyways, the gem in that production is from your planning stage, we are trying to execute it. Some we will call it for before and after.
Which is very important, but I do think something we need to bring back into videos like that is storytelling. You know, what inspired this choice? What inspired whatever decisions that's going to affect the end product. Maybe not, you can keep your clients confidential while so helping somebody understand design choices and just how much they impact this person. It could be something you'd not even know you needed until maybe you heard it from the point of, okay, fine, this is why this person needed this. Some people, like, it's not news that houses are not really built for disabled people in Nigeria. So you have people that would design a house, and the way it accommodates people with disabilities, it's heartbreaking. It's something that we need to. I think storytelling is what we really need to take people along, because then you understand things so much better that way.
You need it. When you start a project, you just reach out to me and say, "Come on, there's a video. The next month, come on,
there's a video."
So, no, because I feel like based on what you've explained, there's a lot that goes into it that people really do not know. So people cannot, without that knowledge, they cannot begin to make a difference between, oh, this person is just on the surface, this one is really, really in depth. And this person should know what they want. Because you made mention of something. It's not just about designing or decorating it for the now. Talk about, okay, year after, 2 years from now, how will the structure look like? Would it still be the same, or would you need to change?
You need to make sure your space works for you. It doesn't work against you. Because imagine having to come into the room and the first thing you're doing is hitting your leg on the table. Like little design choices like that. I don't know about you, but stubbing my toe is such an annoying. It's not even painful. It's an annoying experience. It makes me angry.
Really?
It does.
Wow.
Because like, why are you there? And it's there because you wanted it there. When I said let's put it at the back, you said no. Oh, you want everybody to see that you bought this table for 5 million naira. So just things like that.
That's the thing too. That's the thing. But now that you mentioned that, it's not bad that you bought the table 5 million.
That's not bad.
It's just about where placement. You placed the table.
Movement, flow. Like you need to, you something that I can't emphasize. Like imagine being able to walk into your home, close your eye, and then you already know you are not bumping your head. You are not, nothing bad is happening to your own house. Let not be like village people followed you home.
And this is all the questions that interior design answers.
It's everything, and I can't know everything except I know you as a person.
Yeah.
So that's a personalized interior is always my go-to, because I need to understand you, and even down to your career. Let me know what works for you. 5 years, something that you're always on call. You need to make sure you can plug in something.
So that's to make this money. When is somebody going to ask? So, sir, what? Let's know you so that I can,
And then we kind of have to handle everything. Like your career. Some people, their internet can't just be surface level. It has to be wired into the building. So like, I can't make informed decisions for you if I don't know you well enough. And that's why it's very important. So I would say when people are asking you questions, when your interior designer is asking you questions, it's not because they want to argue. It's because they need to make sure they have checked out everything on the list, everything on the what if list, and the list after that.
So what can you tell the people now about your brand? D_management.
D interior and management.
No, the way it's written on Instagram.
Yeah, okay. D_interior and management. So we are an interior design and project management company. So you don't necessarily have to take on projects from a creative point. We also do managerial projects. Like maybe you just need somebody that actually knows how important it is to see things through. Maybe this place is not straight. I need somebody that has the same vision as me. The creative side can go to somebody else, but I need somebody that will make sure that everything is done perfectly. So that's what we do. We do interior design, we do project management, and just making sure your space works for you and not against you.
Well, let me just ask this question. When it comes to, for you now, you know what goes into the work. What's the least amount? Like where can we start from? Where can we begin to climb up from?
When I know the person, I can say that.
When you know the person?
It's subjective. I can't really put a price.
But there should be a price that, for me now, there's a price that I can't take for my work.
Yeah, but the work you do is different from what I do.
But it's still the same principle.
No, the skills you are using and the equipment you're using, you have them already.
You have to buy.
No, I don't even have to buy. Like your preference is really just what helps determine how vast your budget is. So some people might want something that requires wood, another person requires something that requires marble. Two different price points. So I can't really put a fixed amount. That's why I said budgets are really important, because if you tell me you want this space tailored to this, and that, I can now tell you where you need to invest in and what you can't compromise on. But I would say for free that a lot of times with interior design, whatever budget you have, you need to multiply by 3, because you have to take contingencies into account. You need to take market prices into account. And some people, I have clients that the bulk of what goes into their home is not made in Nigeria. So their preference is maybe from China, from Turkey, from wherever it is in the world they want to get their things from. But you have, again, it really just depends on what you want. That's why it's really good. That initial briefing, that meeting is very important, so we can understand each other. And if it's at that stage, I will tell you no. Thank you for your time. God bless you. I would let you know that.
So for a Gen Z now who wants to go into interior design, like you've said, first of all, just formalize yourself with the necessary knowledge and all that. But aside from that, going in depth, what would you say to someone? You may have to tell them, or you may have to be consistent along the way. You may have to.
It's always something you need to be consistent. Whether or not you have ongoing projects, it's something that it is a continuous learning process. There are that's why, like AI and technology, it's everything is evolving every day. So you need to catch up. You need to, whether or not you have clients you're working with now or projects that are ongoing, if there are ways you can help to that can aid you in visualizing faster, just bridging the gaps in terms of collaboration with your clients effectively. You need to be up to speed with those things. So it's a continuous learning process.
Mm, mm, mm. And also, what does branding come in all this?
I think
When you meet a client, you're trying to tell them, okay, I'm an interior designer, and of course everybody will ask, okay, so let me see the works you've done before.
Yeah, portfolio and all that jazz. I
So
think
how do you go about that?
the brand is as important as the person executing it. Like again,
What's
I
the
said,
branding one?
yes, my brand is personalized interiors. I would not take on any project that I wouldn't say lacks character, but that isn't tailored to the person. Like people that I've worked with would tell you that, okay, fine, she would want to. It's almost as if I'm toasting you. Like I want to know what makes you, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what are your pet peeves, and how we can incorporate that into your space. I say that is my brand. Like I need to make sure that you are at your best, because if you're at your best, then you can refer me to other people.
See, and then you need videos as well.
I also need videos.
Very,
We're
very
working on that.
See, you need videos, you need pictures, you need everything.
The documentation really helps. It goes a long way.
Yeah, it does.
Again, storytelling, like we said before, is very, very essential in the overall process. So you need videos, you need pictures, and it's something that if you've not started, you need to get on it as soon as possible.
I'm also thinking, probably aside from coming, sitting down, talking, maybe go to a site and just document, what's going on. Like
Yeah,
for
you
example,
can, if you meet like engineers on the site, you can just ask them, what ways you've utilized to maximize productivity on this site, just so people understand the work that goes into it. Because they're thinking, okay, fine, maybe there's not enough ventilation just to you break something and the building will fall down. No, it's like you can't know. Like it's a team effort. Interior design, it's a team. You need to, your architect, your structure, you need to be best friends. And it's like if you are very bad at communication, you cannot thrive in interior design, because you are going to have to manage multiple priorities effectively. And you can't do that if you are slacking. So I think going to sites, getting an idea of what inspired this design. Some people like to keep their designs confidential. Like I have work that I've done that I am not legally allowed to post, because that's just the client's preference. But I think with the ones that are a lot more free reign, you can get an insight into what inspired them, what are some methods they use in maximizing the site. Some people, when you start hearing how they speak, then you just know that fine, whatever you thought you knew,
yeah,
it's primary full level.
True. So when we talk about the Western world, do you have like any, because you talked about mentors, right?
Yeah.
Before we started talking, do you have like any mentor you look up to, outside the country?
I don't.
What of inside the country?
I don't.
So who is the metal?
Me, myself.
Serious?
I'm not even joking.
Okay.
Like I see people their work and I appreciate the idea that goes around it. Because
So yeah, of course, there are works that inspire you, I believe.
sure, but again, I try not to copy. So like you can get inspiration, but then that is why I really emphasize on personalized interiors because what you do for A is different from what you do for B. In terms of mentorship, you can have because I find that it's very easy to lose yourself in mentorship. Like especially with interior design, because you see the way people um handle structures and buildings, and then you try to subconsciously and unintentionally imitate that because you know how functional it is, but then it doesn't really allow you to grow as an interior designer because you haven't really incorporated yourself into the process. So when I say it's very good to have mentorship because there are people that have been in industry 30, 40, 50 years. So there's a lot of takeaway there, but you need to make sure that your takeaway is
It's not based on the design, but based
exactly,
on
especially because you are in Nigeria. What somebody look at American houses for the most part are wood raised. Nigeria is blocks. You have different types of blocks. You have insulated blocks. So just blocks that can help just make your living experience easier. But then there are so many things that they don't have in the UK and US that you have here. Again, climate is a big thing. Maintenance realities is one. You keep emphasizing smart technologies. You don't have the lights for that. And it's something that with no matter how these things are, I don't think they're actually made for Nigerian climate, though they are adaptable to Nigerian structures.
So is it that you don't okay, I get your point. You may say, okay, when you get to meet a client who really values it and knows, what goes into it, then fine. But on a normal scale, this is a smart home. This is I guess yeah.
I mean, for example, smart homes, the maintenance requirement is a lot different from traditional homes.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
requires a lot more. So is this something that outside of what is nationally provided, you can sustain
Yeah,
without
true.
affecting the climate?
True. True.
Like, how do you come in terms of being more eco-friendly, being more climate conscious, and things of that nature? Those are the questions we need to ask ourselves because you can get your smart home, you can get your generator, you can get everything, but in the long run, it also affects you. Except you are dead, but it affects you.
Mm. So what are the I don't know if you can talk about it, but what are the I feel like there may be some things, some harmful things affecting us that has to do with our space that we may not know. And it's just, but
This
over the long run, it contributes to health
we
deterioration or something. Is there something like that?
again structural integrity is I can't emphasize that enough. When your walls are wet, your mold will start to come in. Dampness is actually an issue on its own, having a dampness problem. Then you have mold that starts to come in, and then on top of that, you have a poorly ventilated home. So you add mold and poor ventilation, and somebody that maybe is out of work and is just at home all day and they're just inhaling all of that. You just find out in 5, 10 years something has come up here. Maybe cancer, maybe I don't know what health issues are mold caused, but I know that it can kill. And there are different types of mold. There's the green, there's the black. Really just depends on what you're working with. If it's water, if it's chemical, whatever the case is. But I think again, you really need to do your due diligence with structures because mold kills. Oh. Like it's not even funny. And poor ventilation, like
There are
moving
some
forward, it
houses you
affects,
just enter like
and it's
it's
just
just automatically
you know those
cold.
you know those hugs you get from aunties and uncles that you don't like when you are younger. That is very tight and suffocating. That is how poor ventilation feels.
Mm. And even this dampness as well.
Mm, It's very the houses that you feel that are very cool. I
Mm.
feel sometimes were more structurally well built than others. Like airflow is it's not as if it's like this and like that. It's going in circles.
So like if you look at this place now, there's a window here, there's a window here. Is that a very, very good structure or
I mean, it would have been if this place was not closed.
okay?
It's manageable compared to most, but it could have been better. And even the window type, because there are some people, you see that sliding window,
Mm.
don't do it. get the open one. Remember growing up, we had louvers.
Yeah.
Those ones, it will guarantee if you maybe that was the closest thing to winter we felt. It would guarantee that your house will be cool.
Wow,
And let's leave out
this
fake plants.
fake plants, But how? Okay, for example, if I want to get like a live plant, it's going to be expensive. Like for example, now there's live flower, there's live, and then there's plastic flower. The plastic flower is way lesser than the live flower. So
yeah, but this is also not. It's not
if you're selling,
biodegradable. So in terms
sorry,
of not biodegradable. So in terms of environmental.
okay. So if you're going to advise like okay, get so and so, what's
So with plants, again, this is why due diligence is important. With plants, there are different kinds of plants. There are plants that you need to water it maybe once in every 6 months, once in every 3 months.
being in the house?
Yeah. There are a lot. I off the top of my head, I can't remember the names, but some that would even recommend you put this in your living room, in your bathroom when you shower, and things like that, because they just help calm your nervous system and things of that nature. So you just need to ask around. Plants generally, I think it really just depends on the size and the species, but they are not that expensive.
Yes, they sell it on the road.
They
You
do.
have to really know the one that won't buy.
Exactly, they do. Like it doesn't have to be the grandest of things, but it's plants I would say are very sustainable decor pieces to have.
Wow, this is really lovely. So do you have any other thing you want to say to the audience?
Um,
To a growing audience, to a young audience, or to the ones that are already there?
I would say thank you for watching this far. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you have subscribed. Subscribe, right?
Yeah, subscribe,
I hope that
like,
you
and share.
subscribe, like, and share, and then you patronize us moving forward, because I think this would be an amazing team to have on your side. And
Yeah,
just
true.
message us for any other questions you have. We're always happy to help.
Yeah,
Always happy to work with you as well.
she will answer them. Yeah, very, very true.
Yes.
So, guys, thank you so much. First of all, before I even talk about the audience, I've learned a lot. I'm sure you all learned
Everybody
something.
watching too.
Seriously, because I never really thought so. We could think like about a space like this. Because as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of a space that I want to stay in, and I'm just thinking because I know it's not an ideal space for me. I feel I am not a big space person.
Yeah.
But I also know when the space is so small that it can't. When you just go in, it's like your mind is. For example, if I enter a big space that is not filled with things, it feels more like my mind is. I don't know how to place it, but I can't think straight in that kind of space because it's empty. It's empty. It's just maybe.
See, these are the things that we're saying in terms of understanding the person. Some people, for example, have ADHD. They get overstimulated easily. So you need to tailor spaces to them as well. So these are some of the issues. When we are trying to know what you like, it's not just what you like, what you don't like. We're talking about disabilities, things that just make your life generally easier, that are not accommodated for outside, because you need to make sure that your home is your sanctuary. So when you go out, you already know that fine, you are not included. Inclusivity is not something that we have readily available in Nigeria. So your home has to be completely different from that.
Have you ever had, this is just a last question, have you ever had an issue with maybe a client and then the person brings his wife and his wife is like, I don't want this thing?
I've heard those stories a lot, but fortunately I've never
Because as it has
experienced.
to do with space, I feel like people will be like, space, what? The woman.
But I think because, again, I don't know if it's because I'm a woman, but I tend to want to speak to both parties. If it's going to be a wife, if it's going to be a girlfriend, a fiance, because she's also going to be living in that space. So you need to pacify them in the sense that you need to also make sure their input is appreciated. So if your wife, however, decides the final say, and it's not something I can, with the integrity I have, do, I can just wish you happy marriage life.
You talk about this integrity thing. I said that was the last question. maybe we'll just let our slide. But it's really been a very, very wonderful session. For me, personally, and you too, I hope. But for me, I've really learned a lot. And thank you so much for taking out your time to grace us with your presence, and your elegance and your beauty,
Thank you
and
so much for having me.
and your enthusiasm as it has to do with the subject of interior design. It's really something that's
Thank you so much for
it's
having me.
it's so much it's so valuable, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So guys, as I promised, I told you the preceding all the preceding episodes will be something very very
Similar.
very very interesting, and this one is a testament to that. So thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mhm. And usually, like I would say, please subscribe, share,
And like,
and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much.
bye.
Bye.